let me introduce Quentin Regnes. He is freelance concept artist and illustrator. He has a huge, vast experience. He worked with many different studios for 5 years, and I think a lot of his works are covered with huge ton of NDA. So let me introduce Quentin. Hi, nice to see you. How are you?
Hey, hi Taras. I'm fine, and you?
Yeah, I'm fine too. So I'm glad to see you. Thanks for joining us today. Thanks
Yeah,
for your presentation. And uh, what's going on right now in your country?
yeah, it's really fine, fine. I'm really glad to be here because I really love Ukraine. I was married
Oh,
to an Ukrainian woman,
wow.
so I learned a little Ukrainian, so I know how to say Slava Ukraini, for
Героям
example.
слава.
So yeah, I
Yes.
know. Добрый день, як справи?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I'm very glad to do this for you. How I will proceed? Yeah, English is not my native language, so I maybe do some mistake. I hope please be indulgent, but I do my best. I do my best.
Thank you, thank you.
Uh,
So I will let you take this hour for you, and
okay.
I will be here in backstage. In any case,
Mm-hmm.
I will join and help you. So take your time and good luck.
Thank you. So yeah, here we go. Let's introduce myself a little bit, and let me introduce what I will say to you in this hour. So first, I will talk about my work, and after I will talk about image I've done, and I will try to explain what are the different steps I've done in this image and how you can better how you can better do this image without having too much struggle. I mean, you will have struggle, of course, but there are some kind of organization stuff which can really help you. So first, my work. So I'm a concept artist. I worked for 5 years now. You can see here some of my works on my portfolio, but there are way more personal works than professional works. But I think it's really important to have a lot of personal work because it's kind of showcase your universe, And when a studio try to find a concept artist, for example, or illustrator or whatever, they kind of search for inspiration, on websites like ArtStation, and but there are many other websites too. But yeah, so you can showcase your work and say like, I can do that, or I can do this kind of work, And after you will have more professional work, for example, on this one, But even after 5 years, all the studios contact me not for my professional work, but more for my personal work, So yeah, it's kind of really important. I mean, it's not mandatory, but it really can help you. Um, my first year it was for West Studio and the Yili animation movie. So I really started to like enter in the concept art world, and it was really lots of struggle, but I've learned a lot, and I also learned that concept art is not just doing nice illustrations of all of this, but also doing lots of research sketches. It can be color, it can be grayscale, and you really here to add information and lore to the game and or movie or animation, whatever, and try to inspire the for example the 3D modeler of like the producer, and try to build up the games. I've also done some less let's say less gray I had some this early animation movie company, and I found myself doing some like child illustrations, but it was not my specialty, you know. But it was like kind of doing concept art for child books in China, you know, and it was really complicated because lots of kind of they were really demanding, you know, on work, and it was not really something really inspiring. So you had to find a way to go quick and but still having some images which could serve to the production. So yeah, so you that's an example to show that as a concept artist, you will not always work for something you really love. You will have to sometimes work for really complicated things, you know, like things you are not passionate about, but you will still have to be professional, you know, and try to kind of still find a way of doing good work for them, and also see it as a like enhancing your skills, you know, because every work will enhance your skills in some different ways. And I also done things like that, for example, which are some kind of concept color sketches, but you can see that there are some kind of details somewhere, but it's not a finished image, you know. And so it really serves to a production, for example, to say, okay, yeah, we will do this background, and we will need to, for example, model some vehicles, you know, and the character and the composition. And after they will do more final looking images, you know, but it's more like trying to inspire and show informations to a studio, you know. Okay, another works I've done some different things for like kind of Disney or the Harry Potter game, or maybe League of Legends. But another interesting thing here regarding like a life lesson, you know, it's like sometimes you can work for a universe you like, or it's very famous, and you say, wow, I'm working for that, and you find yourself really struggle and not enjoying the process, because you're not working on something of the project which is really inspiring to you, but you still have to do it, you know. So and sometimes working from something very let's say less famous or less you know, incredible, it's lets you more space for creativity, because you feel less pressure, you know. You say, okay, I'm not doing something for a normal thing, so I will kind of let myself go and do what I like, you know, and try to inspire the studio, and you maybe feel more confident, you know. So sometimes, yeah, it's kind of interesting to do. Also, I worked for a studio which is named Two Dots, and for them, I have kind of have to do this kind of sketches. You know, this is not the sketch because it's under NDA, you know, but I'm just trying to show you some kind of this kind of sketch, you know, and it was for box game covers, you know, and they called me, and I was like kind of specialized in backgrounds, you know, and they say, yeah, let's try to do, and I completely failed, you know. And I say, okay, I will never do that again. I'm just not good enough. This is not my thing. My thing is for example, doing more this kind of color image, you know, with a lot more backgrounds than characters. Okay. And they called me like 3 years later, and 3 years later I had worked a lot. I like, for example, model live model drawing, you know. I tried a lot of things. For example, here is some example, you know. I was working my drawing skills, you know, but you know, I was kind of specialized as a background artist, and I said, no, I don't want just to be background artist. I want to be able to do more things, you know. But to be able to do more things, you have to work on your core skills, you know. So here it was mainly drawing, you know. Of course they are not amazing, but it was kind of trying to enhance the skills. And after, so the studio called me again and they say, yeah, maybe we have a project for you, because it's mainly background, and they were like kind of worried about characters. And I've done the work, and they were completely surprised because my level was completely different. And so now I work like 6 or 7 projects for them, you know. So this is interesting to see that it's not because you don't manage to do something at some period of your life, that you will never be able to do it later, you know. So yeah, it's mainly working and kind of believe in your capacities, you know. Okay, and so now I'm working for a lot of different studio, a lot of different projects, and why? Because I'm trying to be the more versatile possible, you know. So yeah, this is what I like, you know. Like for example, now I'm working on an animation studio, doing a trailer, you know, kind of directing the trailer, and but also working for another studio with another trailer. This is not directing, but doing backgrounds, you know. I also do concept art for some studios, and so a lot of different things. That's what I like. I kind of struggle to stay long time on one project, you know, but it's really it's more personal than that. Saying longer projects are more difficult than shorter projects, you know. Everything is fine, I think. So yeah, let's stop talking about me and talk about what I want to do today with you. I will not be really drawing, you know. I will just that we really have short time, you know. So let's try to be efficient and show kind of more a process of the image. First thing I want to show you is this. So this is the stages of the image. Like it's kind of rigid, you know, because it's not really this step and this step and this step, you know. It's more like in your head, you kind of think about all those steps. And for example, if you really want to start about color first, you kind of have in your mind all the other steps, you know. But if you want to do this like it is, it's also work very fine. So the first step is thinking about the image. So we'll talk about the guideline and the inspiration. You know, it's you can draw at this moment, but it's really like kind of you know, in the head process. Okay, after you start the composition, but the composition it's more let's say you will not be really drawing as like trying to make a good drawing, but more trying to feel the essence of the image. And it's not a problem if we don't see some details or if we don't see some elements. As long as we see the essence, it's great. So I will show you some ways of having a working composition and having some kind of abstract composition which still works, you know, and which still is some kind of powerful, you know. Okay, so third is searching for information, so searching for references. And when you search for references, it's mainly to understand how you will treat all the things in your image. For example, treating the trees, of treating a monk. What is a monk, for example, in this example, you know, how what we can see if we are behind them, you know. Here, for example, the lights of the clouds on the ground, how does it work, you know. I will get back to it later. Also, here we are kind of starting to draw because sometimes you have to, you know, but you will see that it's just building up on your basic composition, you know. If you look this very little, and if you look this very little, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of close, you know. Okay, and the fifth step is color. So yeah, the color is only here, you know. in my process. Okay, so yeah, it's only here because to me, color it's like it's something that you can add to already existing values. That doesn't mean you add it in, like for example, a black and white image in Photoshop and you add color filter. Like for I hate to do that, but it's kind of a thinking process, you know. Okay, here I got this value, you know. I will never be able to do this yellow, you know, because yellow has a higher value. So I will try to find some color which matches this. And if you try to put a color which doesn't have the value, it will break the overall value work you have done before. Okay, so yeah, and after the last step, which can really last forever, you know, because you decide when you finish your image, you know. For example, if you work for a studio, maybe they will say at some moment, okay, enough, we're done, we have all the information we need. But for example, but sometimes it's different, you know. When I worked in Quantic Dream, I was really happy to have an art director because he was really here to push me, you know. Like I had the feeling that okay, my image is okay, you know, it's like it works, I don't need to do more. And he was saying, for example, imagine in this image, you know, he was saying, yeah, but you know, you can go push further, you know, and we need to understand what there is here, you know. And so I was kind of tired, you know, but if he wasn't here to guide me, to help me, you know, I will never have done something as far, you know. So yeah, and progressing to the final image, it doesn't mean necessarily doing more and more details, you know. It's sometimes it's also the contrary, to see where to let's say where to how where to remove some details, to have more space, to maybe some gradients, you know, to help us watch more the principal element of the image. Okay, and also, and at this process, at this step, you know, it's sometimes interesting to go back at some other steps. This is something Craig Mullin said in his schoolism lessons, and which was really interesting because he was saying like, okay, you're working on your image and you're working and you're working and you kind of still think that you still feel that there is something strange, something which is not working. And what you can do is sometimes try to do all these steps, all these steps before, and try to see where you kind of failed the thing. Imagine, for example, here I will say, I don't know, my horse, there is something different, something not working, and you will say, okay, maybe if I add more details, you know, maybe, and you are not understanding that it's just, for example, the structure of the leg which is not working, and this is something you find here at drawing, you know. So yeah, and also here you can also, when, like for example, here I was struggling with my monk, and I was saying, I don't understand how it works, you know. And so what I did is I just I asked a friend to take me as in photo and see how first, what is it to be in this position? What do you feel? What muscles are like used? You know, how do you know? Is it comfortable to be in this position? You know, and also when what is it when someone see you in from this angle? You know, when he's behind you, because you can't, even if you're on the mirror, you know, you can't see how you could be, you know. So yeah, it's really interesting. I really like to use references. Of course, that doesn't mean that I need to do exactly as my position. You know, it's more like finding the essence of the position. You know, maybe after I could like exaggerate the this effect, you know, like I kind of analyze the thing. I say, okay, here and here, but maybe there is something I don't like here because it's in the middle. So what happens if I put the arm more here, you know? But I can put also the arm more here, and you could have something maybe more interesting, you know. So yeah, it's really you have to see it as a tool to help you on your drawing, and know as a something you really have to follow. Okay, so yeah. And why I put this bar underneath? I kind of like this meme because I think maybe a lot of you know it already. You got this girl thinking about drawing, and you got this girl, like you can see the struggle, you can see the distress, you know, you can see it's horrible, you know. And this is something you can really feel, and I feel it a lot when I draw. Especially when I feel I'm lost, you know, and that's why I really like to use some guides, you know. Of course, maybe I will not follow it like step to step, absolutely, but it's kind of reassuring, you know. It's kind of I feel better with this kind of thing. So yeah, generally this step of thinking about drawing, it's more like those steps, you know. And after here, you will really have to, you know, you will feel the struggle because, and but it's a really important step. And so you have the choice: either you struggle and struggle and struggle and you dive under it, or you try to maybe use references and like, okay, I draw, okay, I don't understand this, I will go back to my reference, I will try to analyze. And it's not just, for example, having a reference of a horse, people. You can also try to analyze it more deeply, you know. For example, you can search for horses, you know, and try to understand the anatomy, and you say, oh, okay, in the back it works like that, and there is a tail, and so the leg is like doing something like that, and after here and here, you know, and oh, okay, it works like that, you know. And after, you will feel more confident when doing your stuff, you know. And I can testify that because I'm really struggling, you know, with character. I kind of try and again, but I'm more my comfort zone, let's say, it's more like a big environment and like kind of light play on it and more impressionistic look, you know. I can do that with not so much, which without struggling too much, you know. But here, the thing I struggle the most is this those guys, you know. And so yeah, when I have to do something which is alive, you know, like alive humans, alive animals, there is something I kind of struggle to get, and I feel like I need to work more on it, you know. And but that's okay, you know. If you want an image at the end, you will need to work on it. And also maybe you can see your, for example, your personal images some kind of as some kind of practice, you know. Like you do your image, and sometimes you can say, I stop here because I feel like with my actual level I can't go further. Okay. And so, okay, it's not a problem. I stop. I will try to study each thing I didn't manage to do. And maybe like in 1 or 2 or 3 years, you can go back to this image and say, okay, now I know the anatomy. I know better here. So maybe you could even go back to here and say, okay, now I know better how to do horses and I know better my composition. So I can try something different and different perspective, you know. So yeah, okay. Yeah, I talk a lot, and we didn't start the first thing. Let's do this quickly. Where it is, where it is. Yeah, the guideline. So what I like to do on the guideline, so the thinking process, it's trying to identify what I want to do. For example, here I say, okay, this is the nature of the work. So this is the first thing you think, you know, like what I want to do. Am I doing a keyframe for an animation movie? So I will have to think about the size of the image, you know, but maybe you want to do an illustration for your portfolio and you don't have to worry about different sizes, you know, you can do whatever you want. Or maybe, but like if you say I want to do something for an animation movie and I want to do something for like illustration book, the objectives will be different. For example, for animation movie, you will have to think way more about the essence of your composition because the viewers, they will not be able to see the image like for a long time, you know, or maybe if they pause the movie, you know, but let try to pause the movie in a cinema room, you know, you can't. So yeah, you will have to think that they will have to understand the image very quickly. But if you do it for an illustration book, you can try to do things more complicated, you know, because the viewer will have the time to read and to watch the observe the image. So yeah, this is the first thing, and after the second, let's say, big block, you know, is the action of the subjects. I mean, nothing incredible here, you know. What is happening, and what are my subjects? For example, in my image, it's like the two monks. Okay, they are riding some mules, you know, and they are arriving on a valley, but there is a storm coming, so they are kind of worrying a little about, you know. And also the intention, which is the feeling you want to convey, you know. Do you want to? What do you want us to feel when you watch the image? Do you have to worry about the monks? Like, will they arrive safely on the before the storm? You know. So yeah. So, and as you can see, it is on a block, and there are all of those possibilities here, different, yeah, different things. Let's say things because I forgot my English, and but those things are not more important than this thing here, you know. For example, if you action and subject and the intention, I mean, the season, it could be winter or summer or whatever, it will not change your intention. So what you will have to do is thinking about all of the things, for example, time of the day, you know, the era, like the setting, detailing the subject, you know, what style you want to go. It will have to serve your first your core thing here, you know. So an example, let's say time of the day. The intention is like there is the clouds of the storm and it's dramatic and blah 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 blah. Time of the day, I will say, okay, I don't want to do golden hour because I did it again and again, and I'm kind of tired of it, you know. But maybe I can try some kind of afternoon light, and the sun is kind of high, and so the light will filter between some clouds, and it will kind of helped me to see the density of the cloud and like the like say the have an image with a lot of distance because there are some lights close, but there are some lights also behind, very, very far. And also on the ground, you know, there will be the shadow of the cloud. So all those things you can think about when you think about this, okay? And also, those are things you kind of can change during your process. For example, if you say, my intention, yeah, and I say, oh, maybe I prefer winter than summer. Okay, it's not, it will not completely break your image because if you kind of manage to keep your intention and action, I mean, there can be a dramatic pursuit in a hot day, but also a dramatic pursuit in the cold winter. You know, you will just have to convey the information, but it will still be a dramatic pursuit. You know. Okay, so yeah, I let it here. If you want to, I don't know, do a screen cap or whatever, maybe it can serve you if you want to use it. Do as you wish. Okay, so this is the first step. The second step is composition. So what I do is here. Here I try to do some composition. As you can see, there are not lots of differences because I had in my mind already the image, you know. But imagine that there is a uh, a game studio who say, okay, we need to do this and this and this. This is not like the image you have in your mind. You know, you will have to try different ways of conveying what they want to convey. You know, for example, I could say, okay, and I kind of move my camera, and I could say, okay, and what if there will be here, you know, and there is a tree here, and maybe here there is the valley. You know, it's tells something. It's still tells the story of their arriving above the valley, and there is the village far. You know, but they are not at the center. You know, they are not at the center of the composition, you know. So here, why I did this, I really wanted to feel behind the monks, like as if he were also a monk on the horse, you know, like for example a first person view, and I wanted to. So let me show you some of the tools I've used. For example, I use the perspective grid. So here I say, okay, this perspective grid will help me to say, okay, here we are under this monk, you know, and he's dominating us. But for example, here we kind of with the monk, you know, we had the same height. So it's telling something different, you know. Here is kind of dominating, and here is less dominating. For example, yeah, I worked small. I made simple shapes, you know. After you can, if you want, here, why I drew a little more details, because I really wanted to show that he is looking here, you know. But you clearly at this stage you clearly can do it like that. You say, okay, he's that, and he will look here, you know, and it works. You know, you don't have to lose too much time on details on at this step. It's really more to get the essence of the composition. Also, I used some kind of illusion of space. For example, I try to avoid tangents. So what is a tangent? For example, here I've got my guy, and if I had a tree, for example, here, a tree here, it kind of touches the silhouette, you know, and we don't clearly see which one is in front of us and which one is behind, you know. So what I can do is imagine if I had to do a tree here, I can do, for example, this, and so it's not touching the line like that. It's kind of, okay, here I see it's behind, and if it's in front of us, okay, it will be like that, but we still see here and here the silhouette of the horse, and we understand that this tree is in front of us, okay. I also use some lines. So lines, you don't necessarily draw line, but it can really help. For example, here, I kind of drew arrows. For example, I can say, okay, I want the viewer to see like that. So this foreground here helps me to put a line on it. I got also this line here, and this line here and here. So everything goes to this guy here because this is the thing I want to see first. Okay. Also, I use some contrast. So what is contrast? It doesn't necessarily is black on white. It can be actually it's like having a difference somewhere to make it more important than the other things. For example, here, my image, you see there is some kind of contrast like that. It's kind of close, but here at this stage here, you clearly see that there is the biggest contrast on the image. And so what does the eye do? He looks here, first. So there is lots of different contrasts. For example, oh, sorry, it's green. For example, I listed them here, but if you want conceal versus reveal, maybe there will be lots of people and you can see them, but one of the people is on the shadow. And so what you do is, oh, I see there is something really different than the other things which are really similar all around, and so you will be attracted by this thing. There is a really interesting book about this. It's Framed Ink. I just type it here quickly. It's by Marcos Mateu Mestre, and he really talks about all of those kind of contrasts, for example, big versus small, of course. But I think I don't need to do examples, I think you quite understand them. But if there is someone you don't understand, you can ask me and I show you. So the third step is here. So as you can see, I kind of start drawing, but it's more in values, what I wanted to do here is understand better where and what are my elements. For example, here the silhouettes of the pines, but you will see after that it will evolve with the time. Putting this here doesn't mean it will be never adjustable. It's more like having a more precise idea of the silhouettes, like we clearly understand those are pines, but it's not defined enough, we can do that later. Okay, so yeah, I kind of define there is light touching here, and there is light touching here, but light not touching here, and it creates contrast because the monk here is dark and the background is light, and okay, you see. So yeah, and I try to have my values. Maybe those are not the exact final values, but you will see after, like when I put my colors, I kind of try to match my values. How do I do? I have, for example, here for every silhouette, I try to have one different layer. And I know it can make a lot of layers, but clearly you can just with this shortcut, with Control click, and you select your layer, So yeah, and for example, I will put manually my color. I say, okay, here I got this gray, so I want it to be some kind of blue but desaturated. So I try to find my color with the good value, and after I just put the color, So this is my way of working. Maybe it's not better, but it's kind of I kind of like to work like that because I really can choose my color, So here I can maybe add some differences of hue, and it will help me to have maybe something more vibrant, I don't know, but you see the you can do everything you want as long as the value is respected. And when I do with my color, after I can adjust very subtle with subtlety my values, but it will kind of stay the same. Okay, so here I was at the step where I kind of went back to I was at color, and I went back to my stage drawing from line to values to be able to draw better the monk. Here we kind of see the thing, but it's kind of we don't really understand his position. So I had to draw over, to better understand how he will. How it will be he will be, and as you can see, I kind of try to enhance a little bit some shapes, but you will see after at this step, which is it's not final, final, but you can see, for example, I could say, for example, here I could say I don't want to do more details because I want this to feel more impressionistic. So maybe I could play more with some colors, so add some different hue to kind of make it more vibrating, But you see, I've got my silhouette, which I've done on one layer. For example, I can do it quickly here. So I got my silhouette, and after I just put a mask to say, okay, what will be the shape of my light side, And so I kind of search, and do, okay, this will be this. And once I got my layer, once my shape is okay, I can do whatever I want, on it. It will still be my shape, So yeah, and yeah, I've done that for different places. And after here, if I want, for example, to continue here, it will be the same thing as here, like define better my light side and my shadow side, and kind of add details progressively, but trying to not lose my essence of the image I had before, So this is why it's kind of important to having all the steps progressing step by step, So, if you don't do that, I mean, there are a lot of progress, but for example, me, if I don't do that, I kind of start to lose myself on the process, and I stop having, let's say, having pleasure on doing the image, enjoying the image, and I'm starting to struggle, and it feels like a, it's not nice. It's not even nice, I feel like it's having a burden, Okay, so yeah. So for example, here I can add more, doing exactly like that, but as it's in the shadow, I will have maybe closer values, and all this. Like here, it's too much bright, so I can adjust it, but still working as shapes more than trying to draw, if you look everywhere, it's just shapes, you know. Oh no, here it's it's pixels. Okay, it's, yeah, you see if I zoom. Okay, Photoshop is going wild. If I zoom, you will see that it's really, yeah, shapes, and after, in each shape I can add some further details. Okay, yeah, I think it's I kind of said everything I could say in 45 minutes. I don't know if it's time for questions. No, if I understand well. I mean, if if nobody interrupts me, I will just continue. Okay, maybe I will just try to find why Photoshop is doing this. Okay, just close it. Just maybe just close Photoshop. Okay, let's see if it works now.
Is everything okay, Quentin?
Yeah. I just seen that as it was like 45 minutes. I was saying like maybe it's time for some questions. I tried to like say all I could say, you know. 45.
Yeah, everything is perfect. So we have some questions, but they are more like some funny questions.
Yeah,
For
I can
example,
answer a funny
may
question.
we take a screenshot or something like this?
Yeah. Yeah. If you want to take screenshot, no problems. You know, I didn't show some NDA work,
Maybe it's
so
time to
it's
show
alright.
some NDA information.
Yeah, it's
We
alright.
have a lot of screenshots ready, guys.
Yeah. Someone wants money. Someone wants to go to prison.
Prison money?
Okay.
I don't know what you're
Yeah,
talking about.
because of the because yeah. Okay. Yeah, and so from where are people watching this conference? I've seen a red hole, but what is red hole? It's kind of like opera or stadium or.
Red Sea Hall is a stage name, so we have a lot of stages, and
Mhm.
Red Hall is the main stage.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, yeah,
Main
uh,
stage.
yeah. If that's all, if you have finished your session, we can quickly enter our Q&A session. So I will switch one more time and tell this in Ukrainian and Russian. So
Okay.
також, друзі, якщо у вас є питання, задавайте їх, будь ласка, у чат або до розділу Q&A. Друзья, если у вас есть вопросы, задавайте их, пожалуйста, в чат и в раздел Q&A. So, Quentin, I have a personal question. Maybe you have something you can tell us about your job at Quantic Dream. I know a lot of about NDA
Yeah.
from these guys,
Yeah.
but maybe you can share something, tell something about your experience or
Yeah,
about.
I will try. I will try. Quantic Dream. It was my first long project experience. So I had to really I struggled a lot because I had to do things that I wasn't let's say wasn't used to do, you know. So that's why I said like thanks to my art director, he kind of pushed me to go beyond and beyond, you know. Also, it was my first studio like in-house work. I worked for them like 1 year, but it was in freelance, and they kind of gathered the artist one of the other artists who work on it is maybe you know her. She's Russian. She's Sasha Tutvaseva. Maybe this is a name you know.
I
I'm
think
sure some people will say, I know, yeah.
yeah, we'll wait for the comments. So yeah,
Yeah.
so
And yeah, so I work with her and I learn really a lot. So what I like as in working for studios, but in house is like you will make lots of progress because you will work with people who sometimes and like even all the time are better than you. So it's yeah, it's a very good way of learning. You can do that on freelance too, but the thing I don't really like in freelance, and I've done freelance for 5 years, is like you don't really feel the the contact with people. You can still talk,
yeah,
and it's great, and you have video conferences, but
yeah, I
you
see.
know nothing replaces like being on the same desk and people say, "Hey, show you paper," and "Hey, you see." Like that. Oh yeah, of
Yeah, and
course.
draw some small lines. Yeah.
Yeah, during some small lines, so it's really great. But I don't blame freelance too because it's really great when you can work on your home. I think the advice I can do is when you're freelance, trying to be to be social, trying to find other artists and having groups of friends, maybe sometime work on a workshop, the some rooms, with other artists. I kind of do that now, and I really feel the difference. But working alone is cool too, it really depends on your personality. But I feel like as a freelance, it's great to have different things, and you feel like you're living different things. But yeah, regarding Quantic Dream, another thing is I didn't have just to make images and concept art. I also have to do and being able to do because I had worked a lot on those things, like storyboard, for example, or some character design, and I've been able to do that because I was working a lot. And if I if they had said that to me like 1 year or 2 years ago, I would never been able to do that. So you see,
Wow.
working on different things, working on your struggles, it really can open doors. First you're an artist, and after you can either specialize, but it doesn't
Hmm.
mean that you will do that for all of your life. I mean, some artists do it and they are great, but doesn't mean that you have to stay in this case, so yeah, so storyboard, it was really nice. What did I do more? I really learned how a studio works, and it's really
Hmm.
different than freelance work because you really with the team, you really you have meetings and you can propose things with all the people. It's kind of it's really different, but also on the other side, uh, you have to go every morning, wake up and prepare and go. Like when you're freelance, I mean, even in Quantum Dreams, sometimes I work in pajama, pajama. I don't know how to say it in like, like no problem, just showing here, so it's
Yeah, I
it's
see.
cool too, I don't
Yes.
think there are a good way to work and bad way. It really depends of the personality. Yeah, but considering, I really hope they will like say something. I don't know what they are doing. Yeah, they work on a lot of projects and
Yeah, I
yeah,
see. I see that.
it's,
So,
it's
thank you
yeah,
for today. Thank you for joining us. I have
yeah.
one more comment to say from our chat. So, Quentin, you are an amazing artist and lecturer, so everything is clear. Thanks so much for this
Oh,
information. Yeah,
thanks a lot.
and
Thanks a lot.
personally, thanks for from me because this was so inspireful. This was so amazing. Thank you for joining us today. Have a great day, and bye bye.
Oh, you too. Yeah, it was real pleasure.